Welcome to Sports Talk with RKJ. I am your host, Steve Risser, with my co-host Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli. And week 4 of the NFL season is upon us, and we have we start week 4 with the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. And the Eagles and Packers have really been struggling so far this. So no, I mean the Eagles have really been struggling so far this year. Right now they've started the season 1-2. They've been banged up with Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson out. They're probably going to get Alshon Jeffrey back on Thursday, but they won't get Deshaun Jackson. And the problem is with the Eagles is their left tackle position has been a mess. Jason Peters has not played well. Andre Dillard didn't play well, replacing him, and the receivers have been absolutely terrible. Nelson Aguilar has been absolutely terrible for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's been pathetic, and that's been a big reason why the Eagles had lost those first 2 games. I mean, they had 7 drops last week. Carson Wentz has played well, but let's be real. Let's be real with Carson Wentz. He's played well, but 2 drives at the end of the game against Atlanta. Yes, Aguilar dropped a game-winning touchdown. They didn't score, and then you look at the second game against the Lions. They after the blocked field goal, they had the ball at the 50-yard line and they couldn't even get into field goal range. I mean, if you want to be Tom Brady, you want to be Patrick Mahomes, you want to be Russell Wilson, you want to be Aaron Rodgers, you have got to get your team into field goal range. That's why Carson Wentz is a good quarterback, but he's not an elite quarterback in this league. And that's a big, and that contributes to the fact the Eagles are 1-2. Also, the Eagles secondary has struggled. It's struggled for a while too, and their defensive line hasn't been as good. Fletcher Cox hasn't been 100%, and that has affected Brandon Graham's play as well. Look, on the flip side for the Packers, their defense has been outstanding so far. Really good so far. Much improved.
Talent, speed, everywhere.
Yes, Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, who had a huge week last week, Adrian Amos, Jari Alexander, Darnell Savage. This is to me, this is definitely the most complete team in the NFC. I think they're the best team in the NFC once they get this offense going. And then this very easily could be the most complete team in the NFL. I mean, if you look at the Chiefs defensively, they struggle. The Patriots, they're probably right. They're probably close to that too.
I think the Patriots would be more of a complete team, but they need to get more healthy at wide receiver, because I don't know what it was with Josh Gordon's finger. It happened last season. I don't know if he dislocated or something, because I forgot which finger it was, but they had to do that take job where they do go like that, and they had to do that. And plus Edelman, he's got to get healthy with his chest thing. But yeah, that offense gets going. Good luck.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, but yeah, if the Packers offense gets going, I think they're right there with the Patriots in terms of being the most complete team. I think Mahomes right now is better than Rodgers and Brady, but I think in terms of complete team, I definitely think the Patriots and Packers are the 2 most complete teams right now in the NFL. And I think for the game Thursday night, I think it's a competitive game. I think Philly is in a kind of a desperate mode. I think they run the ball well with Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. I think Carson Wentz has a good game, but I think Aaron Rodgers has a big game against the secondary. I think Devontae Adams has a good game.
Oh yeah.
He gets the ball out to Geronimo Allison and Valdez Scantling. I think they have a little bit of success running the ball, and I think this is going to be close. Carson Wentz is going to have the ball at the end, and he's not going to score, and I think the Packers are going to win this game. I got them winning at 31-24 over the Eagles on Thursday night.
I'm also taking the Packers Thursday night. I have them right now winning 27-17. I think offensively, Aaron Rodgers can get on track and due to the Eagles secondary so far struggling. It's crazy too that the Eagles only have 2 sacks so far coming into the season. And the Eagles again, it's just been the injury bug has hit Philly again hard. Jackson is doubtful. Jeffrey's supposed to play, which is going to help, which will be a little bit of a help, but I don't think it's be too much of a difference because Green Bay defense is so good right now. And when your worst problem right now, if you're the Packers, is just try to get that offense going, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
We got to get the offense going. Our quarterback's Aaron Rodgers. I'll take that.
So I really like the Packers right now, and they definitely are the Super Bowl favorite in the NFC right now.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I'm right there with you on that. I also have the Packers winning. I have them winning 24-17. I think it's because, like you said, we look at the Eagles. I mean, my NFC championship prediction beginning of the year was Packers-Eagles. Right now, I mean, it's looking good on the Packers. The Eagles, it's shaky because you're 1-2 right now. You lose to the Packers. Or let's say they lose to the Packers. Now you're 1-3. So you're behind the 8 ball as it is. Cowboys are looking nice. You're 1-2.
Very good.
Right now, you lose to the Packers.
Right now, like
you're going to have to be battling for a wild card spot, which means
so you're behind the 8 ball as it is.
Cowboys are looking nice. You're 1-2.
In Philly,
right now, you lose to the Packers. Right now,
that's a nice
you're going to have to be battling for a wild card spot.
So you're behind the 8 ball.
Preston Smith, Cowboys lines up to 1-2. Philly, right now, you lose to the Packers. Right now, that's a nice you're going to have to be battling for a wild card spot.
So you're behind the 8 ball.
Preston Smith, Cowboys lines up to 1-2. Philly, right now, you lose to the Packers. Right now, that's a nice you're going to have to be battling for a wild card spot. Smith, Preston Smith, Cowboys lines up to 1-2. Philly, right now, so right now, that's a nice you're going to have to be battling for a wild card spot. I don't, if that fits for all Eagles fans or what percentage or whatever it is, but if they don't believe that, then does the team believe that? I mean, they essentially have to, because obviously they're no longer Nick Foles is no longer there. So you kind of have to, but in forever, when he walks by there, at some point there's going to be a Nick Foles statue in Philly. The man won them their only Super Bowl, so he has to work with that over his head for the rest of his life. Until he wins a Super Bowl, that ain't going to be fixed.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I agree with you there. So we got a big game in Buffalo this weekend as the 3-0 Patriots head to Buffalo to face the Buffalo Bills. And yes, the Bills are 3-0, but look at who they've beaten. I mean, they beat the Jets in week 1 when Sam Darnold was not 100%. CJ Mosley left. The Jets were up 16-0 before CJ Mosley left that game. And the Bills
that should have been a blowout for the Jets.
And the Bills scored 17 unanswered points. Week 2 against the Giants, Eli started. He was not good, and then it was a 21-14 game, and Josh Allen made a big play. And then last week they were losing to the Bengals in the fourth quarter, and then Josh Allen brought them back to win. Here's the strength of the Bills: they got a really, really good defense, but the issue with the Bills right now, they have a really good defense. I think they can run the ball with Singletary and with Frank Gore. The issue though is that Josh Allen is a good quarterback, but he's definitely mistake prone through a couple interceptions against the Jets. Had an interception last week, but when the game's been on the line for Josh Allen, he stepped up. Like against the Jets, he led them to the game-winning drive. Against the Giants, he made that big play on 3rd and 6 to get them the first down, and then against the Bengals, he drove them down the field again for the game-winning touchdown. And their defense, which I think is a top 10 defense, with Ed Oliver, with Tremaine Edmonds, with Tre'Davious White, and
young talent
and Jerry Hughes, they've made the big stop in all the games, and the big stop when the game was on the line against the Jets, and the big stop when the game was on the line against the Bengals. For the Patriots, yes, Devlin is a big loss, but I still think Brady plays a pretty good game against the Bills. I think he gets the ball to Edelman. I think so he gets the ball to Dorsett. Is Gordon playing?
Yeah, Gordon's in. Yeah, because he came right back in. Like, he got his finger taped, like I said, like did one of those normal tape jobs, and he came right back in, and I think he made that big catch. I'm not sure if that catch on 3rd and long was after that, but yeah, he's gonna be back. He's gonna be playing, and so is Edelman.
Yeah, they were able to get the ball. They were able to get the ball to Josh. They were able to get be able to get the ball to Josh Gordon. I don't think their run game will be great because the run game has struggled now that Devlin's out. Michelle's a decent running back, but without Devlin, we'll see what he ends up doing there.
He's more of an I-form back. Though their running backs are can do more out of shotgun single back type stuff.
But I think Josh Allen's going to make some plays. I think he's going to make some plays with his legs. But I think the Bills are going to kick field goals instead of touchdowns. I think it's going to come down to the last possession. But this time, I think the Patriots defense makes the stop against Josh Allen, and I got the Patriots winning the game, and I got them winning it. I got them covering too. I got them winning the game 24-16.
I'm taking the Pats too. I think they take this one 24-10. I think the defense plays well. Josh Allen's a bit better, but I think Josh Allen did have a rough day against the defense. The Pats defense is number one right now in that pretty much every statistical category. And again, I know the Pats haven't played the best three teams, but it's still been a very legit defense. And the Bills defense could possibly keep them in this game. I think, the Pats may score like a defense touchdown late. So I think the Bills definitely keep it in there. The defense could keep them in this game. I just think the Patriots offense is just so much better than the Bills offense. And I think that's why the Pats won by 2 scores.
Yeah, I also have the Patriots winning. I know, shocker. I have the Patriots winning 24-14. I think it's going to be 10 points. I think it's going to be whether it's a late touchdown or a late field goal, something like that. It's going to be a late score to kind of put the game away and seal the deal. But the thing that I have an issue with Buffalo's offense right now, obviously one is Josh Allen's accuracy. It needs to be more consistent because there's sometimes where he'll make those insane throws because I think he has he probably has a top 2 strongest arm with him and Mahomes. I mean, I would literally love to see who can throw the farthest. I would love to see it because I think Allen could definitely give him a run for his money. Problem is the accuracy is so, he'll make one amazing throw where you're like, whoa. That's good. That's some next level, kind of talent. Then he'll miss an easy throw or make a decision where it's what are you doing? Even last year against the Patriots, it was in Foxborough, a little route, maybe 8 to 10 yards deep. And that's kind of a throw you need to kind of drill in there. He lollipop the thing, and J.C. Jackson went off his guy because it was a punt almost right to him, interception. For their offensive weapons, they don't have a number 1 receiver. They have a bunch of 2s and 3s. They don't have that number 1 dominant guy. Okay, big situation, 3rd and 8. We need a conversion.
There's not one player that scares you on that. I mean, there's good players like John Brown and Cole Beasley, and still Frank Gore's pretty good. But no player you have the game plan for on that offense.
Yeah,
that's why they barely beat the Bengals.
Yeah, that's why it's you need to have a big time conversions. We don't have Tony Brown, Julio Jones, Edelman, someone be okay, we know we're going to him, we're going to him, try stopping it. They don't have that man. So it's going to be the issue with them. But that defense I'm really, really liking that defense because you can get pressure at the middle. I think Ed Oliver is going to play a big time part in this game because obviously they don't have David Andrews. He's out for the season with his blood clot issue. So when you get pressure on Brady, we all know when you get pressure on Brady up the middle, that's more when he suffers. On the outside, they can kind of, push him aside. He can step up in the pocket. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I think the offense is going to get a little bit of a jump because James White's coming back because he was out for just that one game because his wife was, in labor and was having a kid. So that's going to give the jump to his offense. So him against Edmonds, who's super, super athletic, that's going to be an interesting matchup. So, but I think ultimately it's going to be a close game. The Buffalo Bills are going to lose, but they're going to show that, they're going to be battling for a wild card spot down the road.
We got the Lions heading. We got the Chiefs heading to Detroit to face the Lions this week. The 3-0 Chiefs versus the 2-0-1 Lions, and the Lions have been the surprise team so far. I mean, their defense has played really well. Definitely made stops when it's counted. I think this defense with Darius Slay, with Trey Flowers, with Mike Daniels, this defense has definitely improved. But they're facing the best player in the league, the best quarterback in the league, in Patrick Mahomes. And I think the beat goes on for him this week. I think he has another huge week again. I think the Chiefs get in the third, and they score over 30 points again, and I think they win this game, and I think they cover. For the Lions, I think they have success running the ball with C.J. Anderson and with Kerryon Johnson, but the issue is going to be for them the pressure. The Chiefs will get on Matthew Stafford. I think makes a mistake. That's why I'm going with the Chiefs. I got the Chiefs winning this game 34-24 in Detroit.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs as well. I have them winning 38-24 on the road. Detroit definitely gonna have some success on the run. As KC's been giving up 6 yards a carry so far. Detroit's been much better getting the quarterback. They already have 9 sacks this year, so Trey Powell's been a great addition for that defense. And for the Lions, it's been such a surprise after that tie against Arizona. They've played well the last 2 weeks. Against going on the road to Philly and beating the Chargers at home, but they're gonna have a hard time slowing down Patrick Mahomes this week, and I think they lose by 2 scores.
Yeah, I also have them losing by 2 scores. I have the Chiefs winning 34-20. The main reason I think is that Stafford, he's prone to having, that big time turnover in a big moment. Although only having 2 interceptions so far, it's not bad. Normally you're used to him kind of having a little bit more. If I'm in the Lions, I'm just running the ball all day, every day, every play. That's all I'm going to be doing, because if you can keep that offense off the field and make them, have less and less possessions, I feel like you can, when you have that with a young quarterback, even though Patrick Mahomes is otherworld talent, I feel like that's when you can have a chance to have them try to force something and make a potential mistake. And I think a big time thing for the Lions defense is Darius Slay going to be able to be that lockdown corner where okay, you want to put him, let's say we put him on Sammy Watkins. Can you lock him down the whole game, and then we'll rotate coverage to whoever. If Sammy Watkins on this side, you follow him. He's in a slot on the left, you follow him. He's out wide on the left, follow him. Wherever he is, follow him. Can you shut him down? Because if you're able to do that, and you're able to double everyone else, that opens up possibilities for you endlessly on defense. And that, to me, is the only shot, because other than that, offensive-wise, let's be honest, this is not even close. Chiefs are clearly the best offensive team in the league, and the Lions just aren't, because Mahomes is clearly better than Stafford, and they have the weapons specifically for that offense to make that offense more explosive than it was last year. And this team doesn't have Tyreek Hill right now. Yeah. They get Tyreek Hill. Markel Hardman's, starts learning a little bit since Hill's out. Demarcus Robinson somehow starts playing, continues playing like this, and Sammy Watkins. You have, I would say, 3 legitimate wide receivers, 1 receiver that can give you something here and there, plus a legitimate, probably top tight end, top 2 tight end in Travis Kelce. You ain't stopping this offense consistently if you're Detroit, so good luck.
Absolutely not. We got a huge AFC North matchup in Baltimore as the Browns visit the Ravens, and I think the Ravens. The thing about the Ravens, they're better than I expected this year. I think Lamar Jackson is a better pocket passer, and I think they're able to run. They know who they are. They know what their identity is. They got down 23-6 to the Chiefs last Sunday, but they continue to run the ball. They stuck to what they did best, running the ball with Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards, and I think they do more of the same this week, and I think they have a lot of success doing it this week, because Cleveland is not good at stopping the run. I think that Mark Ingram has a big game. I think that Gus Edwards has a big game, and I think Lamar Jackson, who has played better than Baker Mayfield so far, has a really good game too. I think for the Browns, the problem with the Browns is they don't know who they are. They're in 11 personnel all the time, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. They're not going back to what they were successful doing last year with 2 tight ends. I think the problem with the Browns is they're going to get away from running the football in this game. I think the Ravens run the ball better. I think Baker Mayfield has an okay game, not a great game, and I got the Ravens winning this game, and I got them covering the spread. They're a 7-point favorite. I got them winning this game, and I think they win it. I got the Ravens winning it 31-20 in Baltimore on Sunday. Yeah,
I also have the Ravens. I also have them covering 27-17. I'm gonna take the Ravens. The Browns Sunday night, they had 6 pre-snap penalties on offense. How do you do that in an NFL team? Well, I think it was 2 false starts, a couple illegal motion or legal formation or something. So, I don't understand how you do that as an NFL team. Freddie Kitchens was not the right hire for this team. Yeah, they don't have an identity yet. Baker's 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions so far. He's taken that sophomore slump so far. And the Ravens played, they kind of hung around with the Chiefs last week on the road. And I think they have a lot of success. Lamar Jackson has no picks yet. They've dominated time possession. They've had the ball for 36 minutes. So I think they're control of the clock. I think they won by 2 scores.
Yeah, right now I have the Ravens winning this game, and I actually have them winning 31-20. I think the reason why I have them winning is because Baker Mayfield. The hype was he had a really really good season, especially once they got rid of Hugh Jackson. Now all the hype's around him. You got all the eyes on you. It's kind of like when you're Super Bowl, when you win the Super Bowl, you get everyone's 110% every week because we're facing the Super Bowl champs. We want to beat them. We want to show a statement. We want to show that we're this good. They got that kind of hype, but they're the Browns. Like I said before, and I'll say this until they prove me wrong. You need to establish a culture. Their culture right now that's established is losing and losing bad. And if they get into a big game, they lose it. Like last week against the Rams, you get down there. I'm pretty sure wasn't it all 4 plays they ran an empty set? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did not run the ball once, and that's inexcusable when you have Nick Chubb as your running back who almost had 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, and it's not even that. They had 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
You have not 1, not 2. You have 3 timeouts.
And then what about when they actually did run it on 4th and 9? They ran that draw play.
Yeah, that like right there, Freddie Kitchens, you should be fired for a 4th and 9 draw play. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Like even the crowd, like I would have been perfectly fine if the crowd started throwing stuff on the field at him at that point. Because like that's a dumb play call. That's just beyond dumb. And the fact that you get. Like, you need to start planning, like, against certain teams. Like, when you face, okay, we're facing, like, the Ravens this week. Okay, if we get in this possible scenario, this is the, batch of plays we'll pick from. Like you said, Nick Chubb. You have Nick Chubb. The dude's a solid back. 1st and goal. No run. 2nd goal, no run. 3rd and goal, no run. 4th and goal, no run. You have timeouts. Like, I don't understand this situation. You don't go, you little time goes out the clock. You call a timeout, and then you go on with your play. They didn't do anything. That was just terrible. That 4th and 9 was just terrible. But I need to see Lamar Jackson have a little bit of a bounce back game because against the Chiefs, I thought he was going to light up the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense is terrible. And especially in the first half, it was pretty ugly. It kind of was not as, I'm not going to be disrespectful and say it was as bad as like the Chargers playoff game, from last season, but it was looking pretty bad. And especially compared to those first 2 weeks where he was lighting up the NFL. Now all of a sudden you face Chiefs defense, which is brutal, just got awful, and you're looking a little suspect in the first half of that game. A little bit of bounce back in the second half, but I'll tell you one. But I just think right now, the way it's going for the Browns right now, I mean, you lose to, let's say they lose to the Ravens. Then you face the Niners. Good luck with that. That's going to be tough. Then you face Seattle. That's going to be tough. The Broncos will probably be pretty easy, but then you face Bills, tough, Steelers. Like, you have such a tough schedule if you're the Browns. Good luck with that. Like, it's going to be Strugglesville.
Absolutely. So we got a matchup in Houston this weekend as the Panthers with Kyle Allen head to Houston to face the Texans, and the
quarterback.
No, the Texans defense is definitely better than Arizona's. I think Christian McCaffrey, he might have a decent day catching the ball, but I don't think he's going to get that much yards on the ground. I think that's who they're going to game plan for. I think Kyle Allen has a rough week. I think J.J. Watt gets pressure. I think Whitney Merciless gets pressure. I think Zach Cunningham gets pressure, and I think with all the pressure he's going to be facing, I think he's going to struggle in this game. And for the Texans, I think the Panthers defense in the beginning is going to keep them in it. I think they'll be able to contain the running game of Carlos Hyde, but I think Deshaun Watson makes enough plays against a Panther secondary, which is not good at all. And I think the Texans win this game. I think the Texans win it by 2 scores. I got the Texans beating the Panthers 27-14 and going to 3-1.
I have the Panthers on the upset. I have them winning this one 27-24. I don't know. Now, I know Arizona's defense is not great, but that offense just looked 10 times better with Kyle Allen at quarterback than it has been the last couple of weeks with Cam Newton. And Cam Newton's like 0-8 in his last 8 starts. Kyle Allen now is 2-0. And they just look so much better. And I think both teams are going to get pressure on the quarterback. I think we're going to see a ton of sacks.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Houston secondary hasn't been that great either. They've been getting up 300 yards through the air. Both secondaries haven't been great. I don't know. I just think Kyle Allen gets it done on the road. I think McCaffrey has a pretty good day catching. I think he even has a decent day running. He looked a lot better running last week against Arizona. So I think Carolina gets a win.
Yeah, I have the Texans winning, but I have them winning a close game. I have it being 24-21. And this is the reason why I'll say why probably Kyle Allen looked better than Cam Newton. Like we were saying before we started the show. that offense, especially really any offense, but especially that offense, kind of based upon having a good completion percentage, moving the chains. Maybe not going for that big, 50-yard bomb like you're Kansas City, but you need to keep the chains moving. Cam Newton's not an accurate quarterback. What's Cam Newton's strength? Running. If you don't run the quarterback, which is his strength, and he's consistently probably got about 58 to 59% completion percentage, that ain't getting it done in the NFL nowadays. And Allen's an accurate quarterback. So that's why I think the offense fits more with Cam. Because if you're not going to run Cam, you might as well like what are you doing? Like, that's literally his strength. Like, you need to start using that more. But with the Texans, I think, again, it falls upon them the thing of another great D-line. You're facing Brian Burns. You're facing Gerald McCoy. You're facing Quan Short and Bruce Irvin. That O-line is going to have... Deshaun Watson's going to be running around. Literally, I would just tell Shaq Thompson, you're in a spy the whole game. Watch Deshaun. I don't care what we're doing. Just watch Deshaun. Might as well. Unless you're going to force me to put Luke Kuechly as a spy, which I'm not going to do that because he's better off in other things. But I think that's going to be the struggle for the Texans again. All year is just facing another good pass rush. And again, if you're the Texans, you need to get pressure on him, because if you can rattle a young quarterback early, you can get to his mind, and you're gonna speed up that clock. He's gonna make decisions that's not gonna, that's gonna that key turnover. That's all you need really with Deshaun Watson. Just get a couple stops and you'll be good. But I think it's gonna be a close game. I could honestly see possibly being a last-second field goal for the Texans, and I have them winning 24-21.
We have the Raiders heading to Indianapolis to face the Colts, and T.Y. Hilton might not play in this game, but I still think the Colts are going to be able to move the ball with Jacoby Brissett. Marlon Mack, I think, has a good game on the ground. I think Brissett has a good day through the air, too. And I think with Derek Carr, I think Josh Jacobs has a good game on the ground, but I think it's going to come down to the last possession, and I think that the Colts are going to make that big stop against the Raiders. So that's why I got the Colts winning this game. I got them winning at 27-20. Against the Raiders this week.
Yeah, I also have the Colts. I have them winning this one 31-21. Brissett's looked really, really good. I think last week completed his first 17 passes last week. So, it sounded like they've had too much far of a drop off so far without Andrew Luck, so that's been good for them. But for the Raiders, the rushing defense looked pretty good the first couple of weeks. They really struggled last week. Dalvin Cook, they gave up 211 yards on the ground last week. And then Darren Waller has actually been the surprise for the Raiders in the receiving game. The tight end already 26 catches. I just think they're gonna have a hard time slowing down the Colts at home.
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys. I also have the Colts winning. I have them winning again. Same score as my the last game. I have them winning 24-21. I think the main reason is I just don't believe in the Raiders. Really, it's just you need to. Before I believe in you, you need to show me. Give me a reason to believe. What's the reason right now? I don't see it. They were showing promise in that first game. Jonathan Abram was looking nice. Looked like obviously he can hit hard, which we all knew. That man, torn rotator cuff, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, good luck with that. Derek Carr. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Josh Jacobs looked good in the first game. Darren Waller has been a nice surprise because he had, I believe it was different drug issues, which seems like he's hopefully finally cleared that. And because he looks like, a pretty good receiving tight end as of now. T.Y. Hilton being out, at least if he is going to be out, at least he's going to be out for, you have a week to game plan, because now hopefully you can get Paris Campbell involved, because I don't know if we had Paris Campbell sighting this season so far. I was very intrigued to see what he was going to be able to give them and all that, and so far I haven't really seen much about that. And the only issue I could see with the Colts and why I think this is going to be a close game is that if Darius Leonard is out, because I believe he's still in concussion protocols now, then I could see Josh Jacobs having an even bigger game. I could see having 100 plus, and keeping Colts off the field could be a big key with the Raiders. So I think it all depends if Darius Leonard plays, if they win. Because if he doesn't play, I believe they will lose. But I think if he does play, they will win. And right now, from what I'm hearing, it seems like he's on track to playing. So I have the Colts winning 24-21.
we got a NFC East matchup in the Meadowlands this week, and I personally think this should be the matchup between two rookie quarterbacks, Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins. But Jay Gruden has chosen not to do that. He's going to start Case Keenum this week, and I think without Barkley, this is a competitive NFC East battle. I think that Coleman will do a little bit on the ground. I think Jones will make plays though against this secondary that has really struggled for the Redskins. Josh Norman has struggled. Landon Collins is a decent addition, but he's not that good in coverage. So I think Jones makes plays to Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. And I think the Redskins do have some success, the most success they've had running the ball with Chris Thompson and Adrian Peterson. But I think Case Keenum makes some mistakes. And I think Daniel Jones will make more plays and less mistakes than Case Keenum. And I got the Giants winning their second in a row. And Daniel Jones going to 2-0. I got the Giants winning this game 24-20 Sunday afternoon at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Giants as well. I'm taking them to win 34-28. I think it'll be a wild one. I think both defenses have struggled so far this year. I think it's going to continue. Daniel Jones was impressive, and I was shocked about how well he really played, especially when Barkley went out. You know, like
with a young QB, when you're down down early, like normally it seems like they tend to fold.
Yeah, and he didn't. You know, he stepped up to the challenge. I was very impressed. And I think for Washington, they've only had 144 rushing yards through 3 games. I think they're gonna have a bit more success with that as the Giants defense has struggled. But I'm gonna take the Giants at home 34-28. You know, Daniel Jones impressed me, and I guess so far I was wrong about. You know, I guess everybody was wrong about his draft pick.
Well, the one that, can we at least give him more than one game at least before we anoint the man? Because, I mean, yes, it's an amazing game. I'll give him credit. Like, you bounce back like that in that second half, more power to you. Because, like I said, normal quarterbacks, they fold like origami out there. But he played a very, very good second half against that team. And I think they will win, which it pains me to say the Giants are going to win a game. But I got to say for 2 weeks in a row because they're facing Washington. They're just terrible. I mean, I have them winning. It's a close game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be 20-14. I think Daniel Jones is not – I don't think he's going to play just – terrible, but I think it's gonna be kind of middle. He's gonna show some plays where he's gonna show some pops, and there's gonna be some other plays where it's gonna be a little, and especially with Saquon out. I think hopefully the Giants backup can provide something. It's just the Redskins are just, why have faith in the Redskins right now? What have they shown at all? All it is just brutal, just terrible, time after time after time. You draft a quarterback. Are you going to play him ever?
Yeah, I mean, it really makes no sense why they're not going to Dwayne Haskins. I mean, yeah, Jake Gruden wanted to save his job to play Case Keenum, but now they're 0-3. Yeah. I mean, how are you? They're probably right now not going to make the playoffs. The only hope they have is to play Dwayne Haskins. I don't get why they're not playing Dwayne Haskins right now. They got to play Dwayne Haskins. I mean, Case Keenum is decent, but you got to do what the Giants did. Go with the unknown. Go with the rookie. Go with the guy that's going to bring a spark to your team. And I think Dwayne Haskins would definitely bring a spark to a Redskin team. And if you watch the game Monday night, the Redskins really lacked energy, and I think Dwayne Haskins would definitely bring a spark to this team. Yeah,
especially because they made Mitchell Trubisky look good at quarterback. It's pretty hard to do that, and they made him look good. And then one more set too. Eli's 0-44 when they're down by 18 points, and Daniel Jones is now 1-0.
Yeah, because his biggest comeback was in 06 against the Eagles when they were down 24-7 in the fourth.
Yeah, I did hear that, which I was kind of like, I was kind of a little surprised that at least in that one, because Eli was known for late shenanigans in the NFL. But with right now with Washington, what looks really bad in particular is you signed Landon Collins for a lot of money. What has that man done so far?
Nothing.
It's you're back. It feels like you're back to the contracts when you were giving out Albert Hainsworth kind of contracts where it's you're giving out the guy was a talented player, but it's does he at least fit the scheme and all that? Norman looks like he ain't the man anymore. You signed that man to a big contract a couple seasons ago. It looks like not that I want to say not dependent, but his talent just seems to start dropping off. Maybe it's just because he's with Washington right now, and they they're just so bad that he doesn't want to try. Maybe that's what it is, though. I'm hopefully it's what it is if near them. But I mean, I don't see a way Washington wins it unless somehow Daniel Jones has a couple bad turnovers, which I'm not like anticipating because the Redskins defense is not good at all. So I think it's going to be an ugly win for the Giants, but a win, and I think they'll go to 500 and ultimately win 20-14.
Yes, we have the Titans heading down to Atlanta to face the Falcons this week, and this is my one upset of the week. I really don't like the way the Atlanta Falcons are playing. They lost Keanu O'Neal for the season, and that's a big loss for especially that run defense. I think Derrick Henry has a really big day on the ground. I think Marcus Mariota makes enough plays, and Matt Ryan he played okay. He played pretty good last week, but I don't think Matt Ryan has played that well this season. I think he throws a crucial interception late in the game, and I got the Titans pulling an upset. I got the Titans upsetting the Falcons 24-20 in Atlanta this week.
I have the Falcons win this one 27-21. I think Atlanta's been usually plays better at home. It wasn't great. I just did not like the Tennessee offensive line. They made Calais Campbell. It just seemed like every play I just heard his name with a sack or a tackle in the backfield. It was crazy.
And when I'm mistaken, isn't their left tackle coming back not this week but next week? Because wasn't their left tackle got suspended for like 4 games for like PDs?
Yeah.
Was it Taylor Wan, if I'm not mistaken? So you got to deal with another week with
another week of that. If they don't get Henry going, the Falcons could easily win this game.
Yeah, I like Matt Ryan, as we've seen in his stats. He's much better when he plays at home. I just haven't really liked the way Tennessee's played since week 1, since that when they dismantled the Browns. So I think Atlanta pulls it out at home because because the Saints, with that win in Seattle, they want to keep pace and give New Orleans a run for the money for the South Division. They got to win this game at home.
No, I think the only way the Titans can't. Oh, sorry, real quick. I have the Falcons winning it. I do have them winning by 3 points, 27-24. I think if the only way the Titans can win this, like Steve said, is if they have a big time game from Derrick Henry, because when having Keanu O'Neal, like, you don't really have to like watch out for any like big time hitter. I mean, Deion Jones can like lay the boom a little bit, but it ain't like Keanu O'Neal can. So you don't have to really watch out, for that. And then, so if you just are able to establish the run over and over again, you don't have to bank on Mariota, who so far hasn't thrown interceptions. He's playing a lot better, but at the same time, he's only thrown the ball 92 times. So it's like, it's not a ton. It's like just literally a hair under 30 a game. But if you're able to keep up with the Falcons via the run and keep that offense off the field, which is very explosive, of course, obviously with Julio Jones, you can get Calvin Ridley going, maybe, Mohamed Sanu is your good number 3, then you have a chance. I just don't think they're going to be able to do it consistently, because I think they might be a little bit behind come late game, and that's when Mariota could possibly throw that key, interception, turnover, fumble, whatever it is, and ultimately lose the game for the Titans. But I do have the Falcons winning a close game and keeping in the hunt, because if you drop at 1-3, you're going to fall behind the Saints, and you don't want to fall too far behind, because once you get Drew Brees back, you ain't making up progress at that point.
No, not at all. So we got the Chargers heading down to Miami to face the Dolphins this week.
One real thing, I think from a Bleacher Report that apparently Melvin Gordon might be ending his holdout soon. Woo. I
think he's got to be, because you could argue he's cost the Chargers in 2 of their games.
Yeah, and look at what Austin Eckler's done. Boom. Yeah. Why do they need to pay you 10 plus?
Exactly. So the Chargers play the Dolphins this week, and I think, yes, the Chargers are flying in from the West Coast to the East. That's why I think they struggle at the beginning of this game. I think the Dolphins stay in this game early, but eventually I think the Chargers offensive line has been terrible. I think they're going to have issues protecting Phillip Rivers no matter who's rushing the passer, but I think eventually the Chargers will end up winning this game by a couple scores. I think they cover the spread. They're a 16.5 point. The Chargers are a 16.5 point favorite. I think they eventually cover the spread, but I think they have success running the ball with Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson. I think Keenan Allen makes plays, and they get pressure on Josh Rosen with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. And I think in the end, the Chargers win this game, and I got them winning at 27-13.
Yeah, last night I was very contemplating of taking the Fins to actually cover, but I decided not to, because I don't think they'll do that once. I think they'll barely cover. I think the Chargers will win this one 27-10. And the Dolphins, they hung around last week in Dallas for that first half. They were going in for the go-ahead score late in the half, and they had a fumble.
Wasn't it Kenyon Drake fumbled that?
I think it was Drake, yeah. So it's like they could have been winning last week in Dallas at halftime. So
it's like that glimmer of hope. Yeah. Like, yes, we got something. Nope.
So maybe it's progress, and that's maybe where I was like, and maybe the Finns could keep it close. Because right now the Chargers are fifth in offensive or in passing right now offensively. So I think that's where the Dolphins are gonna have some struggle. But I think Miami will keep it close early, and I think the Chargers will pull away late.
I'll say if somehow the Chargers lose this, Rivers retire. There you go. Just retire at this point if you lose to this Dolphins team. But I don't anticipate that happening. I have them winning by 20 points. I have them winning 34-14. Because how many yards per game do you think right now Miami's given up roughly?
It's like 5 or 475.
It was. Right now, total yards they've given up 504. Rushing, they've given up 208 yards rushing a game. That's terrible. And you're only rushing the ball for 45 a game. So it's like you're allowing team to go up the field on you rushing the ball, and you're not rushing it at all. And what you do, like we saw against the Cowboys, like you said, they fumble. And right now they're averaging, I mean, this is comical. They're averaging 5.3 points per game so far, and they're scoring wise, and giving up points allowed per game, they're getting up 44. Like that's like some terrible college team. Well, this is what they call supposedly a pro NFL team. I mean, this is just bad. I just think that Eckler's going to have a big game, and I think you're going to see Bosa and Ingram just all over the quarterback. And I think ultimately with that pass rush, I mean, the Dolphins, maybe they'll like kind of keep it close for, I'll say, midway through the second, but after that, it's going to be score fest for the Chargers.
Yes. So we'll move on to the 4 o'clock games, and we got a big one in the NFC North as the Vikings travel to Chicago to face the Bears. And I think this is going to be Dalvin Cook, the leading rusher in the National Football League right now, 3 games of over 100 yards. And three games going over 100 yards, and he's been really good. But I think against this Bears defense, which is a outstanding run defense, they've been outstanding on the ground. And I think that they hold Dalvin Cook in check. I think that Kirk Cousins, who is a decent quarterback, I think that this is a big game, and we all know what happens to Kirk Cousins in big games. He always folds under pressure in the big games. We've seen that happen a bunch of times, and I think that the Trubisky does enough in this game, but I think the Bears defense makes a play at the end, and I got the Bears winning, and I got the Bears winning this game 17-13 over the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm anticipating a very ugly game offensively. I have the Bears win this one 13-7. This was more of a battle of, for me, what quarterback do I trust more? And I don't really trust either or. But I think the Bears defense is a little bit better than the Viking defense, so I'll take Trubisky, especially because it is at home too. And because the Bears have only given up 68 rushing yards a game, I think Cook's gonna have a little bit of a rough game, and that means Kirk Cousins has to throw the ball. And Kirk Cousins usually has a rough game, when it's a big game, he usually does not do that very well. So I think the Bears frustrate him, and I think they get the one 13-7.
I have the Vikings winning 20-17. I'm right there with you in terms of deciding like which quarterback do I trust more, and I came up with I don't trust either. I just don't. The only reason why I think the Vikings are going to win this game, I think it's for 2 reasons. Akeem Hicks went out late in that game. So if he doesn't play, that could open up like the middle possibly for Dalvin Cook to get some explosive plays. And the Bears kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, if I'm mispronouncing your last name, my bad. But he got, I think it was like a pinched nerve or something working out. So I don't know if you saw, the games, or the game last week where every time he kicked the ball, you could tell that man was in pain. And I think it's going to be a lower scoring game where field goals are going to feel like touchdowns. And if your kicker's hurt and is not able to kick at 100% and you missed it, I mean, obviously we all know what the Bears' recent history, Cody Parkey, bad field goal kicking. I think that's ultimately what's going to lead to the Bears losing, because I don't think it's going to be Kirk Cousins making a big play. I don't think that. I think it's going to be the middle of the Bears defense possibly being weakened if Akeem Hicks is out. The kicker for the Bears not being at 100% and field goals are going to matter. And I just think Trubisky is just like he's not the guy. So you got to figure out something to do in the future. But you need to worry right now about Daniel Hunter coming at you, because good luck getting away from him because Trubisky can move. He ain't running away from Daniel Hunter. And I think it's going to be a turnover from Trubisky that's ultimately going to doom the Bears in this game.
We have the Jags going to Denver to face the 0-3 Broncos. And I think in this game, the Broncos defense is going to have a huge game. I think, yes, the Jags will have a little bit of success running the ball, but I think Von Miller, yes, he didn't have any sacks, but he played well last week against the Packers. I think him and Bradley Chubb have huge games getting pressure on Gardner Minshew. And I think that the Broncos do enough offensively. I think Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman have a decent day on the ground where I think that the Broncos end up winning this game. I think it's a close, competitive game, but I got the Broncos winning it 17-10 this week over the Jags.
I got Jacksonville. I love the way Gardner Minshew's playing. I'm taking the Jags right now 20-17 on the road. They've had a couple extra days of prep for this game. Calais Campbell last week was just a one-man wrecking crew against the Titans. I think he's going to have another big day on defense. And then for the Denver, they haven't gotten one sack with Bradley Chubb, Von Miller. And that's where I'm kind of just – that's why I'm –
Yeah, at least just engage 8. I mean, at some point.
Yeah, like I know they're going to get one eventually, but they just haven't been impressive. Joe Flacco's been okay. They're on, Vic, Vic, how do you say that? Vulgarnetti?
Which one?
They're probably doing coach Vulgarnetti, something like that.
Yeah.
He's like their third head coach.
Oh, Vic Fangio.
Fangio. Yeah. He's their third head coach. They're on their 5th quarterback since Peyton Manning retired. So I just don't. And he's supposed to be an offensive-minded guy, and it really hasn't worked out right now. And I think the Jags go on the road to win.
Yeah, I also have Jacksonville winning. I have them winning 24-17. I think it's because right now Gardner Minshew, I mean, I'll give him credit. At least he's been performing. 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Right now he's 65 of 88 passing. So, like, at least he's showing something. I think he kind of has, like, what's going to carry him right now until, into next year is that he has that, like, provided that he believes, that he's going to do it. So, I mean, he's playing with house money. People were thinking Nick Foles was going to, get there and he was going to provide them something. Now it's like one thing of since he's out, they're like, what are you going to give us? Like, they're not expecting much. So you're playing with house money. You play bad, that's what they expected. You play good, cool, we'll take it. And I just think, like, right now, that pass rush, like you said, for Denver, how do you have no sacks? You have Bradley Chubb and Von Miller, who's probably the best duo on paper in the league, and you're giving us nothing in terms of sacks. It's like, that's not good. And with Flacco, I just think you put pressure on Flacco with Calais Campbell. Taven Bryan's played better. Hopefully Josh Allen, can kind of get the pass rush going. Yannick Ngakoue, like, I don't really see how you're going to be blocking that. I think it's going to be turnovers from Flacco because against the secondary, especially corner wise, you have Bouye, who's really good. Jalen Ramsey, who's one of the top 2-3 corners in the league. I think it's going to be turnovers because you need to have that run game going for that to work for Denver, and I don't think you're going to be able to get it going on the especially up the middle. On the edge, that's where you could have some success, but I don't think you're going to have that consistently. So I have Denver losing the game by 7.
We have the Bucks heading to Los Angeles to face the Rams this week, and the Rams are a 10-point favorite. And I think they cover, and they just cover the spread. I think in this game that Todd Gurley, and I've been wondering this, is he still 100%? I think that his knee is still bothering him. I don't think he's 100%, and he did struggle last week against the Browns. I think he struggles again this week against the Buccaneers. I think you saw the Buccaneers, their defense has improved, and that defense against the run. They held, before Saquon Barkley got hurt, they held Saquon Barkley to 10 yards rushing. So I think they contain Gurley in the run game. I think they do I think they get some pressure on Jared Goff too with Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett had a huge week last week. He owned Nate Soldier. But I think the difference is going to be is that Jared Goff is going to make plays against this Tampa Bay secondary, which is absolutely terrible. They blew an 18-point lead last week, and that was the biggest reason they blew that lead was how bad their secondary is. I think Cooper Kupp has a big game. I think Brandon Cooks has a good game. I think Robert Woods has a good game. And I think on the defensive side of the ball, the Bucs get pressure on Jameis Winston. I think Winston makes a couple mistakes. And I think I got the Rams winning this game, and I got them winning it 28-17 over the Bucs this week. As you saw last week, Jameis Winston had a good first half, but I think Bruce Arians is losing confidence in him because you saw he was the Bucs were very conservative in the second half. I think that Winston makes some mistakes this week. I got the Rams winning 28-17.
Yeah, I got the Rams winning this one 30-14. Yeah, I think the Bucs rushing defense, they're right now sixth in the league. So, yeah, they can make, especially because Gurley, I'm with you, Steve. Gurley's not healthy. His knee's not 100%. it's not. So, but yeah, we saw their secondary for Tampa is not very good. They finally got Mike Evans going last week, though. That was something huge. I don't know, why did your Giants keep playing man-to-man on him?
Yeah, because the Giants did struggle. You know, if you watched the Dallas game with the Giants, they struggled in zone coverage. You saw the seam when Blake Jarwin and Randall Cobb had those touchdowns in man coverage. The Giants just had, zone coverage. The Giants just had no answer for that. There wasn't a linebacker or safety anywhere near any of those two guys. And then you saw in the second half the adjustment the Giants made, though. They started to play up on the Bucs receivers. That was a good adjustment they did. But yes, Betcher continued to leave Jenkins on Evans, and Evans roasted him. I'll give you that.
And then especially that play at the end, they got the Bucs in the field goal range. It looked like it was going to win them the game. I'm fine you playing man coverage. Just have someone over top to help him over. And like you said, like Janoris Jenkins on Mike Evans, that literally screams jump ball.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I don't care if it's 3rd and 1, 1st and 10, 3rd and 45. I'm throwing that jump ball.
Yeah. But I just think the Bucs are going to show. I think Jameis makes some mistakes. I think the Rams defense could be over Jameis, and Jameis is in some trouble because I'm with you. I said they were conservative in the second half, the Bucs, and that was another reason why they lost that game.
Yeah, I think the Rams are going to win this as well. Either winning 34-20. I think it's because, like you guys said, Jameis Winston comes up with that big turnover, and that's gonna. I think Donald this is what I can see. Donald gets pressure on Winston. Winston just tries throwing it up because that's what's always worked with him, especially when he's had Evans, and that's ultimately going to turn the ball because that's not going to fly against that secondary. And especially with Donald getting pressure, Bucs O-line, it's not that good. And like Steve said, you have that secondary for the Buccaneers, which is just terrible. You have Robert Woods, good receiver. You have Brandon Cooks, good receiver. And you have Cooper Kupp, who's not the best receiver on the team, but he's the most important receiver on that team. So I don't know how you're going to cover all three of these guys with that secondary. I mean, like Devin White can only do so much across the middle, but deep, I just see big plays in the pass game. I could see Goff going for like 350 to 4 on the Buccaneers, and I have them winning by 14 points.
We have an NFC West matchup in Arizona as the Seahawks 2-1 face the 0-2-1 Cardinals, and I think this is a really, really competitive game. But I think the Seahawks really get the run game going. They've struggled to run the ball, especially at home. They struggled to run the ball against the Saints. They struggled to run the ball against the Bengals. But I think they have a lot of success running the ball against Arizona's run defense. I think Rashawn Penny and Chris Carson have really good games. I think Russell Wilson has a big game. But I think on the flip side, that even though Kyler Murray I think will be pressured all day long, I think Kyler Murray has a big game because Seattle's secondary is not good at all. I think Kyler Murray has a big game. I think that David Johnson has a little bit of success on the ground. I think this is a competitive NFC West matchup, but at the end of the day, I got Seattle winning by a field goal. I think Russell Wilson has the game's tied late, and I think Russell Wilson has a game-winning drive, and I got Seattle winning this game, and I got Seattle winning it 31-28 over the Cardinals.
My score is pretty close to you. I got Seattle winning. I got Arizona covering. I have Seattle winning this one 31-27. Yeah, both defenses have not been great so far. And for Seattle, it was their first September home loss under Pete Carroll. They were 15 or 16 or something like that until last week. Defensively, they were not great at all. They really struggled. Both teams have really, really struggled. I think Seattle's definitely going to get pressure on Kyler Murray. Yeah, I think Russell Wilson leads them to a game-winning drive. And I do think Chris Carson gets the ground game going for him. I'm going to go Seattle on the road.
Yeah, I have actually have the Cardinals winning. I have them winning 28-24. I think it's because you have that offense who is a talented offense. You got receivers for that offense to work, and with Seattle's secondary clearly just being the weak point of the team, I think you're going to be able to exploit that. And honestly, that's the only reason, because obviously you can go quarterback versus quarterback. It's no contest right now. I mean, Russell Wilson's clearly better. I just think you're going to be able to mix up that offense enough that I just think that secondary is going to be such a detriment to this team. For the Seahawks, it's going to be such a detriment for that team in this game that you're just not going to be able to keep up, because I do like this offense for the Cardinals. It's shown like pops and why, like what it's supposed to do when it starts getting rolling. But like I said, the defense is just, it's the struggle for both teams. Clearly, it's just like the weak one. And that's what I find that funny, especially with the Seahawks. It was known for Legion Boone to be one of the best defenses ever. In 3-4 years now, you have maybe one of the worst defenses ever, and you still have Bobby Wagner. But it's like your secondary, you try drafting pieces, nothing's really worked out. So I think it all depends if the Seahawks can get the run game going consistently, that they'll be able to beat them. But I just think that I can't really give you a reason. I just think the Cardinals are going to be able to keep it going. I think that they will ultimately end up winning the game 28-24.
The Sunday night game, the Cowboys head to New Orleans to face the Saints. And if Drew Brees was playing, I'd definitely pick the Saints in this game. But I think that the Cowboys are, I hate to say this, but I think the Cowboys are going to go to 4-0 and they're going to win this game. I think, Sheldon Rankins might not be back. That's why Ezekiel Elliott might have a decent day on the ground. I think Dak Prescott makes some plays in the passing game. And I think the Cowboys defense, I think Bridgewater makes some plays, but I think the Cowboys defense contains the Saints offense. I think you saw last year, you got Van Der Esch, you got Jalen Smith to cover Alvin Kamara, and that's big to contain him. I don't think Alvin Kamara has been great. He's been good. I think he's been a good receiver. I think he's been great running the ball, and now he's the focus of the offense because Teddy Bridgewater is playing and not Drew Brees. And I think this is a really close, competitive game. But at the end of the day, I got the Cowboys going to 4-0. I hate to say this. I don't think they're a great team, but I got the Cowboys going to 4-0 and beating the Saints 24-21.
Yeah, I have the Cowboys win this one 28-24. This seems like a game where Jason Garrett could just blow. But I just think
Make that terrible decision at the end.
Yep. But I just, without Breeze, I don't really see them winning. And the Saints defense has been bad. They're 28th overall. They're 30th in the passing game. They're 26th in the running game. I think they're able to move the ball well. They gave up 515 yards last week. 278 came up in the fourth quarter, but that's a ton of yards. I think Dak continues to play well. And I'm going to take the Cowboys on the road.
I think the Cowboys will win the game 28-21. This is the way I kind of looked at it. With no Drew Brees, what offense? This is the way I looked at it. I was like, what offense do I believe in more? Cowboys. What defense do I believe in more? I mean, clear it's the Cowboys. Saints defense is ugh. And like you said, the strength of this team really has been Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara. Michael Thomas, you have Byron Jones. For Alvin Kamara, you have Jalen Smith, and you can mix it up and put Van Der Esch on him in different times. So if you have that, where their strengths of the team, you have it covered by guys that are like grade A top level talent. I don't understand how they're going to score consistently, and I think that Sean Payton's going to scheme up something to keep them in the game, but Teddy Bridgewater just isn't Drew Brees. I mean, that's just what it is. And I think with the Cowboys with Zeke is just going to have that much in, because when you are not able to stop the run with any kind of consistency, you got to focus more players on it, whether it's blitzing, get them in the box, and that opens up play action. They have Amari Cooper, they have Michael Gallup. Like, you finally have legitimate weapons for Dak, who's shown some improvement this year, and I think he could make a possible drive towards the end of the game to put them up ahead. But like you said, Justin, with Jason Garrett, you never have faith in him come big moment. He always makes the wrong call. Whether it's being too conservative, being too aggressive, it seems to always make it. But I just don't believe in Bridgewater right now. I'm sorry, it is what it is. He's just not the level of talent that Drew Brees is, and I think the Cowboys, like you said, Steve, it hurts to say this because I don't like the Cowboys either, but they will win 28-21.
We got the Monday night game. That's an AFC North matchup as the Bengals travel to Pittsburgh to visit the Steelers. And I think Mason Rudolph was not good in the first half last week, better in the second half. But I think that the Steelers offense does a decent job, and Connor has a decent game on the ground. I think that Rudolph gets the ball to Juju Smith-Schuster, but I think he also struggles. I think on the flip side, the same thing with the Bengals. I think that Dalton, he is second in passing yards right now, so he gets some passing yards to Tyler Boyd and John Ross. But I think the pressure of the Steelers with T.J. Watt, with Stephon Tuitt, with Cam Haywood gets pressure on Andy Dalton, and I think Joe Mixon doesn't have a great game on the ground either. So I think the Bengals move the ball, but I think they kick field goals. I think the Steelers, when they move the ball, they get touchdowns. But I think this is a close, competitive AFC North matchup, just like Bengals-Steelers always is. And I got the Steelers getting their first win. I got them winning it 21-16 Monday night against the Bengals.
I got the Steelers as well. I have them winning this one 27-20. I have the Steelers winning this one. Both defenses have really struggled so far. Rudolph was not great. They forced 5 turnovers of the Steelers on Sunday, and you still lose. Like that was a really, really tough loss. Since he hasn't really been able to keep the ball, they're net -4 in the turnover margin. Mixon only has 88 rushing yards through 3 games. They've really struggled to get a run game going. I think he'll do a little bit better this week, but the Steelers at home on Monday night, I think they pull it out, and Mike Tomlin can't drop this one either for his job.
Oh yeah, because that seat's gonna get nice and warm if he does. But I think the Steelers are gonna win the game. I have them only win by a point. I have them winning 21-20. I think this has potential to be one of the ugliest games of the season, and especially I think the ugliest game of this week, because both teams right now are pretty bad, especially with Roethlisberger out for the season. You have Mason Rudolph. First game did not go well. Mixon needs to get the ball. I think both running backs have a chance to have good games, because right now Bengals are giving up almost 170 rush yards a game, and the Steelers are giving up almost 140 rush yards a game. So I think Mixon could have a potential big game. Connor could have a potential big game, or Jalen Samuels, depending on how healthy Connor is. But I think it's going to be an ugly game, and I don't believe in the Bengals. I just believe in Mike Tomlin and that defense for the Steelers, and I think that's why they're ultimately going to pull out the victory by a single point.
All right, we're going to go on to college football, and we'll talk about the De'Aaron King situation. Justin will have Justin will have an opinion on this. That he is now he's not even hurt. He is now redshirting after 4 games after Houston's 1-3 start, and I just don't think this is good. Yes, freedom for college players is good, but you started the season. They got to have a rule in the NCAA. I think it's 2 games max. I think it's 2 games max. Then you have 4 games is too much. I think it's only 2 games. If you only play 2 games, you can redshirt. I think 4 games is way too much. That's a third of the season. Now you can redshirt. I think the NCAA needs to change this rule to 2 games. But De'Aaron King is now redshirting to play his senior season for Houston. What do you think about this, Justin?
Now, this is kind of what Kelly Bryant did last year when he ended up redshirting after Trevor Lawrence took the job, and he went to Missouri as a grad transfer. So so he's kind of the second one. He's the first one, and then also one of the top wide receivers, Keith Corbin, who's also a senior, decided he did the same thing as King. They'll both stay at Houston next year. It's interesting, and they did it more for freshmen because they want the freshmen to have 4 games and you redshirt them to get them experience and all that. But I think, and that's kind of where this loophole is right now, where anybody could kind of do that. Tua could do that if he wanted to right now. He could say he could redshirt, and it's weird, but
it's finding a way to abuse the rule.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's kind of finding that loophole. And I could maybe see this as a trend starter. This could definitely, if they don't fix it, like what's going on right now with the players, with some of them not wanting to play in the bowl games, this could become a problem, especially at a smaller school where a quarterback's having a huge year, but it's not getting that spotlight. It kind of is all right, I want to transfer and I want to go play for Oklahoma next year. I could kind of see that where that's happening, or a quarterback loses their job and wants to transfer out but wants to keep this year, and they want to redshirt this year so that they could play next year, so they don't have to sit out all next season as well. So it could definitely be a trend starter, but it's very interesting to see what's going to happen with this, and it was something I did not see coming.
That, like she said, the problem with it is the fact that if it's 4 games, you can see okay, our season's down to 2, our season's 1-3, 0-4, maybe even 2-2 if you're projected, to possibly be a national title contender. You use redshirt the season. That's it's abusing the rule, but hey, in a way I'm fine with it because the players are getting abused by the NCAA, so it's just karma. Yeah. This is payback, but I don't see this sitting with a lot of players. Because if I'm on the team, we're trying to fight, to get in, for a possible, bowl game or something, we need you, and then you're just next year.
Somebody telling me that they really think they can get the New Year's Six Bowl next year. I haven't really looked. I think they're gonna, Daniel Holgerson's usually got a pretty good team. So they definitely have a chance to win the West next year. So it's going to be interesting. I think they knew they were pretty much out of it now. So I think that's also why.
I wonder how it's sitting with boosters. That has to not. Probably did not play well. They had to do a lot of convincing to me.
Yeah, I don't know who they talked to. I know they talked to the head coach, I would assume, but I don't know. I couldn't tell you about that.
Yeah, because that just is like, I understand why he did it. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me, but I can understand why he did it though.
Yes, and now we're going to move on to the Kansas basketball scandal. And yes, Bill Self is in trouble for lack of institutional control. And what's your thoughts on that, Justin?
This is another interesting now. Wow. Now, the level 1 sanctions, this is what also UConn got busted with Kevin Ollie. And Kevin Ollie is banned for 3 years. I'm not saying that's going to happen to Bill Self, but I think this is a little bit worse than what Kevin Ollie did. Where, Ollie had FaceTime, was using Ray Allen to FaceTime recruits and was using a friend to train players. TJ Gasno he's with Adidas, and right now he's allegedly has paid Salvio De Sousa and Billy Preston. De Sousa was suspended all last season for Kansas. Preston has left the program and all that. Now his guardian for De Sousa was $250,000, and they found De Sousa, who's eligible to play this year, because they found he had no knowledge of what was going on. Preston's mother, this is the one that where he could be into trouble, because they actually have a text message of Self and Castles and talking about it, and then this is from Self. This is quoted. Self actually says about the money. That's how it works at UNC, and Duke kind of saying, like, he's kind of calling out Duke, like Duke and North Carolina, they do the same thing. I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's true, but
wouldn't surprise anyone if it was.
Because then on the testimony it says Gasno gave Preston's mother conspired to allegedly give her $90,000. That is a lot. That was on testimony and they have that documented. But Bill Self could be in a bit of trouble here. Again, usually the NCAA doesn't go after the big blue bloods, and that's where I'm kind of like, Bill Self maybe
they turn the other eye, even though they know stuff's probably going on.
And a couple years ago at UNC, they had the fake classes, and Roy Williams got off clean and all that. So it's interesting to see what happens. Bill Self has accepted to fight it. He had 90 days to do that. Clearly, he denies all these claims, but it's gonna be very interesting to find out. This could possibly lose a job, because it really seems like he knew what was going on.
Yeah, if you know what was going on and they're able to prove it, he should be done. He should at least be suspended. If not, like, you get your job is gone. You're no longer the head coach. But like, if people are surprised that at top colleges for whatever sport it is, if they're surprised that people are getting paid, wake up. Like, let's be honest. People like Clemson wouldn't surprise me if they were getting paid for football. I wouldn't be surprised if there was people, football players for Alabama getting paid. Welcome to college sports. Probably one of the most corrupt things in the world. Welcome. Like, just look up any 30 for 30 that's talking about college sports. It's corrupt in some form. Look at like the U, like part 1 and 2. Look up the Fab 5. Look up anything. College sports are not clean. They're corrupt. It literally is. It's pro sports. They're just not getting salary or contracts. They're just getting, hey, here's $100,000. That's what's happening. Congrats, people. Welcome to college sports. Wake up.
And it is corrupt. And then in the next, I heard the NCAA is going to start doing these sanctions to a couple more. I know definitely NC State and Auburn are going to be on, and probably Arizona. There's a couple other schools they have announced, but there's going to be a couple of these name drops very, very soon. I don't know why they wait till now, because practice did start for yesterday for most teams. So
the only thing that I hate when you have a school that like comes big out of nowhere, let's say kind of like Memphis, you have Penny Hardaway. Actually, everyone, especially Memphis, knows who Penny Hardaway is. If you're a basketball fan of any sort, you know who Penny Hardaway is to some extent. I remember I was hearing them say that people were just saying, oh, he has to be cheating because he's getting all these top players. Maybe it's just because it's Penny Hardaway in Memphis. People need to stop throwing out accusations for no reason. At least have some form of proof, whatever it may be. Not just be like, oh, he's cheating. Why? I just feel it.
Yeah.
Have some kind of, like, come on, people.
Exactly. So we'll wrap the show talking about some college football games. First one, we got a border war. Friday night, Penn State goes to Maryland to face the Terrapins, and Sean Clifford has struggled. He did struggle against Pitt, but I think with KJ Hamler and the way Penn State runs the ball, I think they win this game, and I think they cover. I think they win it by 10. I'm going to go 31-21 Penn State.
I have Penn State taking this one. I have them not coming by a half point. I have done taking this one 27-21. Both defenses have really been playing well so far. Maryland's 10th right now on allowing rushing yards right now. I think it'd be a very close, competitive game. Maryland's offense came down to earth, but they're still averaging, I think, 53 points a game. Yeah, 53 points a game, even after they only scored 17 against Temple 2 weeks ago. Both teams had a bye week coming back. But this is for Maryland and for Mike Loxley. If they can really compete with Penn State or maybe even beat Penn State, I'm not saying they're going to beat Ohio State or Michigan or anything, but, maybe...
Seems like anyone can beat Michigan now.
Yeah, maybe down the line in a couple of years, maybe they could compete in the Big Ten East. So maybe a huge game for Maryland to see where they're at, and if can they make a little bit of noise in the Big Ten East. I'm not saying they're going to contend or anything, but to hang around maybe in the Big Ten East and give like Ohio State, Michigan, and those guys some challenge. Yeah,
I do have Penn State winning. I think it's going to be high. I think it's going to be a high scoring. I could see it being like kind of like a 34-31 type scenario. I think it's because both teams are averaging Penn State's averaging 47 points per game. Maryland's averaging 53. Offensive wise, like they're putting up a ton of yards in general, especially in the run game. Maryland's averaging more rush yards than passing yards. 277 yards rushing. Penn State, it's at 192, so a hair under 200. It's going to be interesting because both teams' rushing defense pretty solid. So who's going to have that the breakout, play, the big play that can put their team over top? It's going to be interesting. But like you said, with Maryland, if they can, even if they don't win the game, at least if they're competitive, they can start getting their name out there and start making a name for themselves and start building up, for, a year or two from now and, potentially making a serious push, to winning their conference and all that. So it's going to be interesting, but it's going to be a high scoring game, but you're going to see a lot of runs. But if you can get big plays on the run game, I'm excited for it. I'm all about big plays, especially in college. I don't care pass or run.
We got UVA heading to Notre Dame to face. And then we got UVA heading to Notre Dame to play the Irish. And who is that corner for UVA? Who's good?
The corner,
Paul, right?
Paul, yeah.
But I think that it won't be enough. I think that Notre Dame with Ian Book has a pretty good game, and I think they win it. I'm going Notre Dame 34-24 over Virginia.
Yeah, I'm going very low scoring, 24-17. Both teams have been good. Virginia's kind of slept. They had to come back from 14 points last week to Old Dominion. They really, really struggled. I thought Bryce Perkins, he's such a great runner. He's not a great passer. So if Notre Dame could make him throw the ball, and if they can contain him, they have a very, very good shot at this game. Because Notre Dame, though, on offense, they're only 20% on third down. They have not been able to get it done. And it's been a trend of it's been third and longs and all that. They have not been able to get third and shorts. But Virginia, I thought they're 94th right now in the country in running. I thought that would be much, much higher because Notre Dame's really struggled defensively. So I think Virginia could definitely hang around, and they definitely have a shot to win this game. And if Virginia does, their schedule sets them up where they could maybe run the table. They have Miami next week on the road, which is going to be tough, and then Virginia Tech. But if they could survive this one, they have a very good shot of running the table.
I have Notre Dame winning this. I think it's going to be a close game, honestly. I think, again, I could see it being a one-score game. It's going to be lower scoring. So I would say about like a 27-20 victory for Notre Dame. I think it's because you saw against Georgia, that they had chances. They just, whether it was like turnovers on downs, they turned the Maul, whatever it was, they just could, Georgia felt like almost like wanted to give them the game, but Notre Dame was it was like, here's a chance, Notre Dame, and they're like, I'm good. Here's another chance, nah, I'm good. They just didn't convert on the big time downs at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, and I think ultimately This time they're going to, because Georgia is just, I mean, Virginia is good. They're not Georgia. Georgia's another kind of beast. I think ultimately Ian Book is going to have a little bit of a bounce back game in terms of like clutch time at the end. I think they'll win the low scoring. I'm going to say about 27-20.
We got USC. They're going to Washington, right? USC playing Washington this week, and I think this is going to be a really competitive game. But I think Jacob Eason makes enough plays. I think Washington wins. I'm going to win 27-20 Washington.
Yeah, I'm going 31-20 Washington at home. Caden Slovis, the freshman quarterback, as of last night was still in concussion protocol, so he has not been cleared to practice or play Saturday.
He's their second quarterback.
He's their second. Yep. Matt Fink, who stepped up last week, who played very, very well against of course, my Utah playoff pick, but so that's out of the table. But Matt Fink was in transfer portal this summer. He played very, very well against Utah. USC can't run the ball now. They run that air raid offense, so they throw a lot, but they ran the ball 22 times last week, only 13 rushing yards. Washington's defense is very, very elite. I think they could have a very hard time running the ball against against Washington. Washington's offense has been great. Jacob Eason's been a great addition for Chris Peterson, and I think they win at home.
Yeah, I think Washington's going to win this game. I could see about a 10-point victory. I just think it's because obviously with USC running that air raid offense now, it's all about passing, score. Washington right now just plays the run game. I think is too good, and I think USC's defense in terms of rush defense, it's just not going to be able to keep up with that. And if you're trying to keep up with scoring passing wise, even the second quarterback plays, if he's not 100%, and especially if you're playing with a third string quarterback who is a freshman, right? If I'm not mistaken, a third string.
Yeah,
USC.
Yeah, I think he's a freshman.
And it's like, so anyway, even if he's a third string, like he's not getting a ton of practice time. So all of a sudden you're throwing it, and we need points because we're not getting a ton of possessions. Could possibly play with his mind and make the decisions that he shouldn't have. So I think why ultimately Washington's going to win the game.
Last game we'll talk about is the Saturday night game. Ohio State heads to Nebraska, and I think Nebraska is overrated. I think Justin Field has a huge game, and I think I'm going 49-24 Ohio State over Nebraska.
Yeah, I got the Buckeyes win this one 45-27. Now, the last couple of years, Nebraska actually only went to the Horseshoe last year when they were still winless, and they gave Ohio State all they could handle. This seems like a game where the last couple of years Ohio State just does not show up like the Purdue
They'll show up this one. Come on now.
I think they will. I think they have not missed a beat without Urban Meyer. It's 40. I don't care. I know they played Miami, Ohio last week. 42 points the second quarter. I don't care who you play. When you put 42 points in one quarter, that's pretty impressive. They've gotten 19 sacks because they beat a very good. I think Cincinnati's a very good team. They absolutely made them look like a JV high school football team. I think Nebraska keeps it close early, but I think they pull away late. Justin Fields has been unbelievable. Ryan Day's done a great job at Ohio State. Nebraska's, besides the Northern Illinois game, they really have not played a complete game. They gave up 38 points to a decent Illinois team, as we saw against UConn. They're decent, but they're not great. But I don't see them being able to slow down Ohio State.
Yeah, and I think Ohio State's going to win big. I can see by like 3 to 4 scores. This is the thing I believe that's most shocking. I mean, one, their defense, they've only given them 9 points. Obviously, that's amazing. They're averaging 524 yards of total offense. In terms of distribution for those yards, it is almost 50-50. Yeah. That's what's impressive. You want to guard the run? Fields will beat you. You want to guard the pass? J.K. Dobbins will beat you. So what are you going to choose? Right now, I mean, they played 4 games right now. J.K. Dobbins has 477 yards on only 68 carries, and he has 5 touchdowns. Justin Fields has 13 touchdowns through 4 games with no incompletions. Like you said, it looks like they haven't missed a beat. Yeah. You're not going to stop them, Nebraska. You're going to get stopped. They're going to show why. There's levels to this. There's good teams, there's great teams, and there's elite teams. Nebraska, welcome to an elite squad known as Ohio State.
Absolutely. It could get very ugly Saturday night. So this is going to wrap it up for Sports Talk with RKJ. We want to thank, for the first time we were on Facebook Live today, we want to thank all the people that watched on Facebook Live. And I'll be posting, obviously, this video at 5 o'clock today. And obviously, and hopefully you join me later on today for my Week 4 preview at 11:32. So for Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week talking playoff baseball, NFL Week 5, and college football Week 6. Have a great weekend, everybody.